So I just wanted to show you guys something I found. This is a Maytag dryer. It's pretty old, but it works. But it's a Maytag Performa dryer. And it was working fine, then I started tripping my GFI. Oh, not GFI, started tripping the breaker. And then I thought it was the outlet, so I replaced the outlet. It wasn't the outlet. It runs, it works. It just doesn't heat up anymore. So right now, what I've been doing is I've been checking all these little thermostats. There's two here, well there's one here, and there's two right in here, you see them? So 1 and 2. And they all have continuity through them. They're all working. So the way I've been checking them is with my Fluke multimeter. Any of them would work. I have it set to ohms, and this one has a tone when there's continuity through it. And then I'm just going, it's kind of hard with one hand. Then you can hear it. So this one's still good. So this was basically the last one I had to do. And this was good, the two on top were good. So I couldn't figure out what the problem was. So when I took it off, because I still had the drum on here, but I took it off just to see what else was in here that I could test. I realized that the drum had been rubbing on this wire right here. Focus, there you go. So right there it's been rubbing. And this has been happening for a while. So what I'm thinking is, because the drum's rubbing on here, maybe it was creating that continuity from this side to this side. And then for whatever reason it didn't. I did actually just move it. I moved it, and maybe that wire moved because it stopped heating today. And I moved it to clean out behind it. And when I set it back, it wouldn't dry anymore, it wouldn't heat. So I'm thinking this must have gotten shifted slightly, and it wasn't going across anymore. So I'm just gonna use some butt connectors, crimp it, then cut and splice, and see if that was my issue. While I'm in here, I'm also gonna do a replacement, clean it all up. Like I said, we've had it for a long time. It actually came with the house when we bought it. So we just kept using it and it kept working. So I'm gonna replace the gasket that goes around here because it's completely ripped, as you can see. So I'm gonna try to find a new one. If not, I'll figure something out. And I'm gonna clean it all up, get rid of all this lint and dust and dirt. And then I'm gonna put this back together. And while I'm at it, I'm also gonna replace the belt. So this is the motor. There's the output, and this is just a tension rule. You just pull it back. It's got some spring loaded. The way it is the drum's set up to go around here, so there's enough space where you just take your hand in here, wrap around, and then pull that back, and then tension it. There's also two guide rollers back there. There's one there, one there. They spin pretty well, but I'm gonna clean them up, maybe grease them if they can be greased. Clean everything up, and yeah, that should get us working. I also tested the door latch, thinking maybe that might have been the problem, but it ran, it spun, it just didn't heat. It blew air and everything. So yeah, oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys the belt. So there's the drum, but while I was in there, I noticed that this belt, so it's a really thin little belt. It's kind of like a serpentine belt. You can kind of see the teeth in it. But like if your serpentine belt on your car, or even this one, you see all those little breaks? It's time to replace it. I'm gonna see if I can find a replacement. But this is what I noticed. There's a piece missing here, and then this part's coming undone. So yeah, I already have it apart, so might as well replace it. And then most of you are probably thinking, well, how is that creating continuity when this is what is that, powder coated? I don't know what this old style is. But this is where the wire was riding up against. As you can see, it actually went down all the way to the metal. So I'm assuming that's what caused it. As this is spinning, maybe that's got a timer on it, or unless it's off for a specific amount of time. I don't know exactly how this works, but I'm thinking this is the reason it continued to work even though that wire was all chewed up. So yeah, everything works. Blower still works. So I think this is my issue here. So if you ever have a problem with something like this, my mentality has always been it's already broken. So if you have to go buy a new one, why don't you just take the time to pull it apart, see if you can figure out what the problem is, and then fix it. I made the mistake because we have a washer there. That's my old washer. It actually was a really top of the line washer at the time when we bought it. It was a Whirlpool Cabrio. I've heard a lot of bad stories about it, but this one gave us a lot of good years of service. And I replaced the pump on it once, and then it went out again after about a year. And we just needed a washer real quick, so we went and bought this one. And then right before I threw this one out, I was going to remove the brand new pump I put in it and just keep it for whatever. And I realized that the problem wasn't actually the pump, it was a wire going into the pump had broken right around the tape section. So yeah, I fixed that wire, I butt connected it, and this thing's working now, but I already have one, so now I have two. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But yeah, just if you have the time and you have some tools, you don't really need it. You know, I use the little impact, but you can use any hand tool. Butt connectors are cheap. So is this stuff here. And then the ohm meters. That one's actually kind of expensive, but you can get any cheap one. You can get the cheap ones at like Harbor Freight that are like $9, or sometimes they'll even give them to you for free. Yeah, I'm also going to go in here and replace these. It looks like it's just some sort of UMHW plastic. I'll see if I can get some more of this. Replace that so that it slides a little better, a little quieter. So yeah, I just thought I'll do an update on it, see if it works, see if that is the problem. If it is, then I'll do an update, and then I'll show you how to. If it isn't, then we'll look deeper into it, and then we'll work off of that. Thanks.